All right, what's going on, everybody? This is Staying in the Light Radio. We're going to do a decoding a movie for you today, at least part of it. I had to stop watching the movie because I got so much on it now. I'll give you part two another time. Okay, this movie, In Time, Justin Timberlake, I believe his name is. And it takes place sometime in the future where you only was given 25 years of time. After that, you gotta pay for it through labor. And you didn't age after that. You stayed 25 years forever. So let's look at the society in these characters. He Justin represent the 85%. The That's why I investigated the movie because I said, how would somebody want to live day to day? I mean, paycheck to paycheck, and to stay alive. And he had a mother. She died prematurely because he was lazy and didn't prepare enough for her to have enough bus fare. You watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Everything costed time. That's the currency, time. And those who have watched the movie, you know what I'm talking about. The bus driver was a policy enforcer. You could say police because he was not flexible. He had to go by the law. So she was a half hour short on the time because the price went up, the time went up. So she couldn't pay it. So the only way she was possible to make it was to run home. She died in the arms of her son, who was running to meet her. And that's really got him to thinking outside the box. That this was not just for him to live like that. So having that thought, created a situation where he met a man who gave him some time. The 10%, the ones who live off of the death of others. They call them the bloodsuckers of the poor. Those who have more than what they need. And he gave him all his time. He gave him all his time. So he timed himself out in about 5 minutes. So Will Salas, I'm trying to see what that name means. But he had a will at least. He decided to go to Vegas, where the rich folks was, with the idea of taking everything they had by gambling. So you got these characters in this movie, they're easy to identify. He went to the rich neighborhoods. He's from the ghetto. He went to the rich neighborhoods. And everybody else living off of other people's time. That's the 10% of society. The bloodsuckers of the poor. He met the daughter of this rich guy, and she was fed up with that life because being rich, having all the time you need, means you live forever only if you don't take chances or do something crazy. So being adventurous at heart, she hated it. She hated that safe life where she had to be with bodyguards. So she was attracted to this adventuresome young man from the ghetto who still ran and watched his clock. And everybody knew that rich folks don't have time to do that. They don't run. That's a trait from the ghetto. So I found some interesting things in this movie. So far, I haven't finished it. There will be a part two, maybe, if the spirit tells me to give you part two. If there's more interesting things, I'll give it to you. But ending up on this note, some other parallels I found in the movie. His name, the one who had unlimited time, his name was called Wise. He was wise because he lived off the time of others by the way of, he sold time. So he determined whether people lived or die. He owned the time, so to speak, and he had timekeepers working for him. So the question was asked of him, how much time did he have, Mr. Wise? He asked his daughter, how much time did her father have? She said, eons. Oh, and that took me, I said, okay, that sounds like Elon. You know Elon Musk? He's in that category of unlimited time, time being currency. I said, oh, maybe that's where he got his name from. Elon sound a lot like eons because he had unlimited time. Anyway, you had these timekeepers who really was bankers. Because if you had more time than you were supposed to have, you stole somebody's time, then they would chase you down. That was their job. This one guy had been doing it for 50 years. He was also was a gatekeeper, make sure people stayed in their prospective places. He's from the ghetto. He made sure nobody got out of the ghetto. They stayed in their places. But he had integrity. He couldn't be bought. Mr. Wise offered to buy him when the time was getting a little hot on Mr. Wise. And timekeeper, his name was what? Hamilton? No, not that's the other guy's name. His name was I think it's some Leon. Leon the Lion. So he was not for sale. He had some integrity. He'd been doing that job for 50 years. And the daughter, when they ran off together, and she got her time stolen before she realized that she had to share time. Before, she wouldn't give him a minute of her time. That's the way she was raised, being selfish. But once her time got stolen, she began to learn and appreciate the value of sharing. So it's a movie that really is about life, and you just replace time with money because they say money is time, and you can see how true this movie is to real life. So that's just a few minutes of the decoding of the movie in time. I want to be sure I gave you this before I've seen the movie before. I can give you the whole I can give you the whole movie. However, as I watch something more than once, there's always other things I see that I didn't see before. When you watch him in his bank, when you watch Mr. Wise in the bank, in the background, you see, you look real hard, you see images of Moloch, the satanic god. You see images of him twice. They show those images, but you got to really be looking hard to see it. So they show you that those people are satanic Satan worshipers who's into the money. And yeah, if anything more interesting, I'll come back and give you part two. I don't know what y'all talking about in the chat that don't even interest me. If you're not interested in what's being said, then I don't know why you're here. This is for the family of my community. So those who have interesting comments, who want to communicate, I've got the app called. Uh, if you watch enough of my videos, you'll find it. You find a link where you can have chats and get the dialogue with each other. If you want to be a part of this community, I think that's enough for now. Anything very interesting, I'll come back and give you the rest of the story. But that's I can go and finish it. Eventually what happened is that they become expert time robbers and get the biggest banks. And like that's what they made to do. His father was a person who saw justice. Will Silas' father, and he knew the timekeeper knew his father. Now the timekeeper died because he didn't believe in justice. He died because he was so intent on catching Will Silas, that he forgot about his own time. So when he did catch him, he ran out of time and died right on the spot. And that's justice. That's what they call poetic justice. Cause he didn't believe in justice. He just ran out of time. But the movie is full of allegories of human life, and if you watch it a few times, you probably get it. It reminds me of the movie, other movies like this. Uh, they alive. They alive. When knowledge was the factor that kept people who can have the spiritual eye to see things with their spiritual eye, representing the dark glasses. So this been a Stay in Your Light broadcast radio. We bring you these things as we get them for the wise, those who want to know, and those who in the know. Hey, what's going on in the chat? You're not a bad crowd. So, okay, you speak English. You don't speak. What language do you speak if you don't speak English? I speak other languages. Okay, look like the peoples are gone. So 50 minutes is good enough for me. I hope you enjoyed this decoding the movie In Time with Justice Timberlake. I think that's his name. That's probably not his name. No, Timberlake is this another Justice. It's not Timberlake. It is Justice Timberlake. All right. So anyway, thank you for listening. We get back with you later.